Ooh, there it is. It beat me to it. All right. Welcome to the show, everybody. We got a really exciting one for you today. We have an awesome guest lined up, planned out. So let's get started and hear her story.
The Carrier Experience Podcast is a show for anyone who wants to grow their agency and be a titan of the insurance industry. Learn from a panel of experts who share their agency struggles, their experiences with the nation's best carriers, and share the marketing secrets that successful insurance agents are using today. Now, here's your host, the insurance bro, James Cias.
All right. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. It's that time again. Before we jump into the show, just a quick reminder once again to please subscribe on whichever platform you're listening to us on. Give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe, and drop a review. It's going to help us show up higher on those search results so that more and more insurance agents out there can benefit from the value that our guests are going to bring us. We really appreciate that. So, it is a beautiful Thursday afternoon here in sunny San Diego, and we're super excited to bring you another incredible guest. Here to impart her wisdom and knowledge, our guest today has a background in sales and administration, which are the two big things that insurance agents need to be successful. She is a multiple entrepreneur, spending time in the worlds of event planning as a personal trainer, dance instructor, and of course, insurance. We're super excited to have this awesome guest on the show today. Joining us from Hasbro Partners right here in sunny San Diego. Welcome to the show, Carrie Ann Carranza.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Carrie Ann, for joining us. We're really excited to have you on.
Very excited to be here.
Thanks for hopping on with us. So tell us a little bit about yourself. I'm seeing here, did a little bit of research on you, found that you are a personal trainer, dancer, you have a little bit of history in real estate, and now here you are in the insurance game. What led you to insurance? What brought you here?
I want to say wanting to help my clientele in other ways other than just in real estate. I've been doing a lot of design work for many, many years. My degree is in interior design. And along that, I have been continuing dancing and doing personal training. But I wanted to take it to the next level, and insurance was very close to my heart because the company or the brokerage that I hang my license with helps specifically with union employees. And I come from a union family, actually.
Okay.
Most of my family are Local 63, longshoremen in LA Harbor. So
Nice.
I wanted to see how I could help them out in any way. And I stumbled upon this.
When you have something that's close to your heart that means something to you, it's really easy to get passionate about that. Tell me a little bit more about that. How does the company that you're working with, how do they specifically go after unions? What is it that they do special that drives that attraction or drives that business to unions?
The brokerage that I'm with is actually the only brokerage that deals specifically and directly with unions.
Wow.
And work with their financial advisors on an annual basis. And so it's great because I'm able to help longshoremen. I'm able to help nurses in their unions and firemen, EMTs, just a lot of people that we see on the front line, especially right now in these days.
For sure. What is it when it comes to products, when it comes to specific things that members of these unions need? What are some things that are some selling points? What are some things that you talk to them that say, hey, look, nobody else on the market has this or can offer this?
Well, we are able to give them some exceptional rates in regards to their insurance needs. So anything to do with income protection, especially
Hmm.
not just funeral and final expenses, but income protection, mortgage protection. And we have some really amazing cancer, excuse me, cancer policies that we offer, because we do know that a lot of our union workers deal with a lot of things that are carcinogenic.
Oh yeah.
It's, especially when they're working on the docks or with
Hmm.
chemicals,
Hmm.
hazardous material.
100%.
So these programs are really suited for them.
100%. I was in the military myself. I was in the Navy for almost 8 years. And during that time, I was stationed on the USS Enterprise, which before it was decommissioned was the oldest ship in the Navy. Um, Definitely a lot of asbestos, a lot of things, especially when we were in the shipyards and those kinds of things. It was pretty nasty stuff. So definitely, if you're working with these longshoremen, we're talking shipyard workers, we're talking anybody who's on ships, whether they are Navy ships or the USNS, the Maritime Merchant Marines. That's the word I was looking
Merchant
for.
Marines, absolutely. They're reefers. They're dealing they're going in the boiler rooms, and then we have also our firemen,
Hmm.
and our paramedics and our nurses that are dealing with people who are ill, and so they're coming into close contact with a lot of these different types of chemicals or hazardous materials. So our company has really taken all of that into consideration to offer them the best protection and a peace of mind for them to leave a legacy for their family.
That's awesome. Speaking of firemen, we know that these wildfires are going crazy right now. What's that like? Do you have communications with their families? Do you keep in touch with your customers, especially those that are in hazardous positions during those hazardous times?
I actually have some active clientele up in Marin County, which, as you
Hmm.
know, has had fires going on for several months now. And I actually am in weekly contact with them just to make sure that there's anything that has happened that possibly I can help them out with that has changed. It has been so unpredictable, and these fires have been bigger than ever this year. So,
Yeah.
keeping up with my clientele and making sure that their needs are being met, and not having to worry about giving me a call is my number one priority.
That is fantastic. As insurance agents, I feel like that is something that we often forget. But it's such a good way to show that we really care about our customers. And like we were talking about earlier, this the union you come from a union family, so being
Yes.
able to provide this kind of service, this kind of product to other union members is really close to you, and that must really make you passionate about what you do and make you really care about those people that you're serving.
Yes.
Is
Ab-
there is there something is there any like great stories, any success stories, where you had somebody that came across and you had just the right coverage, like at just the right time for them?
you know what? I did have actually a union worker who signed up with a policy that I had assisted him with and had a crate fall on his shoulder at work.
Ouch.
And so he was signed up with an A71, which is a get paid policy. And he was able to make sure that he was getting a per diem per day to take care of the bills and the everyday needs like groceries for his family, on top of the workers' comp that later did come. But we always know that workers' comp takes some time.
Hmm.
With our policies with our union members, they're paid out within 48 hours.
That's
So,
awesome.
yes, so his family did not have to want or have to use credit cards or a savings account at that particular time. And that always makes me feel good to know that the family was able to just go on with their life and take care of their member that is now needing a little bit more TLC in the interim.
Yeah, for sure. That is so wonderful. So, your policies, they're not just life policies. We're talking health and accidental coverage. Mike, thanks for the shout out. That's awesome, Carrie Ann. Um, so we're talking life and health and the whole gamut here. How long have you been in the insurance industry?
I have been in the insurance industry now on this side of the insurance industry for about 7 months, and it's been awesome. To be
Wow.
able to offer more than life insurance
Hmm.
and your own final expenses has been great because so many people have accidents, especially under the age of 40, and can it benefit from these policies rather than waiting until something happens where it's fatal. So it's been a great thing these last 7 months.
That's awesome. So 7 months, basically, you came into the industry right when COVID hit.
Yes.
So wow. First of all, that's great timing. And seeing as you serve the community with a lot of different health needs, what's your experience been like during this entire COVID season?
Well, it's been great because I'm still able to reach out to my clientele on Zoom. I do a lot of Zoom, and that's wonderful because I feel like I can be with more people during the day rather than traveling back and
Yeah.
forth with them in person. So I feel like I've been able to actually service a lot more clientele, and then actually get their needs met faster because of all the great DocuSign and
Hmm.
virtual signatures that we can do now and get them processed right away.
Do you just kind of like, if they need something, it's like, hey, let me set up a Zoom real quick. Let's just chat.
Absolutely. I have the app on my phone and we can meet anywhere at any time.
Oh, that's awesome. And especially if they're iPhone users, you just click that little blue button, right?
Absolutely.
That's the best. That's the best. How have you grown your agency over since you've been doing this? Did you bring a book of business from stuff that you were doing before, or what else have you done?
You know what? I was able to actually get an approval to extend these benefits out to a lot of my real estate colleagues. And as you know, with real estate, you're your own boss.
Hmm.
And so, insurance, whether it be long term or short term, is something that you have to seek out yourself. So, I was able to extend this out to my colleagues, especially during this time of COVID, because they were also labeled as essential workers. So, they were
Right.
still meeting with people in person. Um, and still out there. So it was great to let them know that they had a little bit of extra coverage for this particular time.
Makes sense. Are you continuing to grow, to use that other business to grow your book?
At this time, it's mostly been insurance. It's really been awesome. The response that I've been able to receive back from people and just the word of mouth referrals has been great. It's just been great.
I imagine so. One of the things that I'm mostly in the on the PNC side of things. So when I have partners that are in real estate, I'll get their homeowners insurance and cross sell the auto and all this other stuff, right? But what I always talk about is protecting the mortgage payers themselves. So you're talking about health insurance, life insurance, accident insurance, all these different things that actually protect the home buyer if
Right.
they are unable to work. So are you generating leads? Are you getting any leads from your real estate colleagues for these mortgage for these buyers that need help protecting their mortgage?
Yes, and absolutely. I've been getting a lot of wonderful referrals from people on the mortgage side because mortgage insurance, can increase your mortgage by $300 to $500 a month. So
Mhm.
to get that mortgage protection, which is completely different than mortgage insurance is a term that decreases over time. This would take care of the full blown mortgage if, God forbid, something were to happen to a family. And most people do qualify for a mortgage loan with both of their incomes. So
Mhm.
if something happened to one person, it would help that family not have to move to a less desirable neighborhood, take the kids out of school, and maybe go to a less desirable school district. And it really allows them to have time to mourn and to reconvene what their goals are after the passing of a loved one.
100%. That's the beauty of life insurance. You know, we say it. You probably heard it in your licensing class that life insurance creates an immediate estate. For me, in my personal why statement, I help people to create wealth today and generational wealth for tomorrow. So that's what that life insurance really does for a mortgage lender. What are some other prospecting strategies? How are you growing your book? What are you doing to get your name out there?
The other thing I'm doing is I'm able to leave my flyers in a lot of businesses here in downtown San Diego. It's been great because a lot of things have opened up. So you have a lot more foot traffic, and I've been lucky enough to be able to do that. And I also try to be involved on a lot of online events, which I think is really, really great because I've been able to network with a lot of people, even though I can't physically be there right now because of COVID-19, but just to be able to do those live events and stay present. The other thing that we have available to our clientele and to everybody is what's called a child safe kit. And I'm able to reach out to moms and dads with children, explain to them what this child safe kit is about. And it's set up by the Union of Police. And basically it's a kit that allows them to document everything about their child and keep it on an app on their phone and a hard copy in the glove compartment of their car. And if, God forbid, their child were to ever go missing or become abducted, it does help with getting that child back home safely. And we do know that these unfortunately, this is something that has actually grown and increased during these times of COVID.
I hear that. So let me just run this quick little. All right. So you've been at this now for 7 months, learning a lot, growing a lot, using all of these different prospecting strategies. What are some obstacles that you've come across? What are some of the biggest agency struggles that you have, and how are you overcoming them?
I want to say the biggest agency struggle is talking with clientele under the age of, I want to say, about 27. And they're single. And it's a struggle only because it's hard for them to believe that they could ever be in an accident or could lose anything. And in San Diego, as you probably know, we have a large community between the ages of 24 and 36. And they're not necessarily married and maybe don't have children, but a lot of them do own homes or condos. And so to let them, I'd say, kind of expand their thinking that if God forbid were to happen to them, what would happen to one of their most precious assets, which would be their home or their business.
Right.
So that would probably be my biggest struggle.
It's just getting to the younger crowd who thinks they're Wolverine and invincible, right?
Right. Right. Exactly.
So what are some things that you say to them? How do you get them to recognize that this is actually something that they need?
I give them scenarios that are real. An accident where something were to happen and you were not able to work and you are the only person paying the mortgage. You are the only person paying your credit card bills. You're the only person on your car note. And then also really talking about savings. And I know that in this demographic, a lot of them have already begun retirement accounts. And, understanding that insurance is allowing you to use the insurance money to take care of a situation and not having to go into dipping into a savings account or 401k or anything like that, and saving that really for what it's meant to be. And when I put that into perspective, because I think a lot of people in that age range think, oh, I could just dip into this, I'll just pay the taxes. but it's just so much more than that when you accumulate everything that happens in someone's life in an accident where they cannot work.
Makes a lot of sense. Yeah. And again, it goes back to when you're young, you don't think about these
Yes,
things.
that's
You
right.
just, I mean, I'm 37. Well, I will be in a couple months. And I still feel 27. You know,
Right,
I was
right.
joking about the Wolverine thing. I have not on this shirt, but I have on my Wednesday shirt a Wolverine pin. So I'm very much about, you know, I'm invincible. I ride a
Right,
Harley. Nothing can
right.
stop me. You know, but it's definitely one of these things that I think about, that if something were to happen to me, what's next? You know,
Correct.
and there's people just don't think about that. Um, and I guess, you know, in all of this, it's how do you get people to, what are some of your closing tricks, right? ABC, right? We always be closing. So how do you get, what are some of your closing tricks? What are some of the things that you say that's like, ding, it really makes that light bulb go off and closes the sale?
I have them think about their past, actually. I bring up how, you know, in the past, when we look at things that have happened in our lives, we didn't know how the dots were being connected. Um, and in the future, it's very much the same. So if you were going to talk to yourself back 5 years ago, what different things would you have done? You know, and some people I've spoken to, even at the age of 28, have already claimed bankruptcy. So there have
Wow.
been a lot of younger people out there who have already started all over again in growing their credit,
Mhm.
doing things like that. And then, so, you know, putting those things in perspective that are very, very real. Credit card debt is very, very real. Talking about the real bills that we see every day. Um, and then saying, okay, how about if, you know, think about this, something happened to you, you had a policy that took care of everything, so your family wouldn't have to worry about anything, but then can just move on with their lives and try to reassess what they need to do next, is priceless. And that is so important to me, is for people to understand that there is no price tag on this. There's no price
Yeah.
tag to have peace of mind.
It's
And that's
so
really what I
funny.
try to get through.
Yeah, no, it makes it's so much sense. It's funny to me that, you know, insurance as a whole is litigated, it's legal, it's you know, mandated when it's for our stuff, right? You have a car, you have to have insurance. You buy a house, you have to have insurance. You got a business, you have to have insurance. But the thing that really matters, our life and our health, these are the things that are not required to be insured. It's mind
Right.
blowing.
I hope you're insured.
Exactly, Sean Connery.
Right, right, and
So
it's so true.
it 100% is. As you're growing, as you're learning here, are you working with a mentor or any kind of a team?
My Hyro partners team is who I'm working with right now, and they have been, I mean, shout out to Mario and Ari and Jillian, have been just amazing, very supportive through my whole entire process, and are so willing and open to share what works, which to me is priceless.
It absolutely is. Tell me a little bit more about your mentorship and how much it's helped you just in these 7 months. Like when you first started 7 months ago, was it freshly licensed? You didn't know anything about insurance, and now you're able to speak the language. What was that journey like?
You know, I can say it wasn't too far off from real estate, and in mortgages. It wasn't like totally foreign to me, but I had no idea that there were so many different policies out there. And I had no idea either of all the contingencies on all the policies. So that was mind blowing to me. So to help me understand more of what I needed to learn right away, they were able to dissect it from A to Z. And I really appreciated that because I wanted to be able to answer questions correctly, and I wanted to be able to help people immediately. As you know, in sales, that's so important to help them out right away. So they were able to break it down, and it was broken down in training. And we still have training meetings every single day. We connect throughout the day. They're available to me 24/7, which is amazing. And they will even sit with me in a meeting with the client if need be. So just by watching them, I've learned so much as well.
Skills I've acquired over a very long career.
I forgot to mention, we throw movie clips every once in a while. Yeah, it's good. It's good. There was a question. We were talking about the mentors and products and carriers is kind of where I wanted to go from here. So when you have your mentors, when you're learning, and you mentioned that there's so many different products, there's so many different types of policies, and as a brokerage, you have access to several different carriers, several different companies. What was it like learning what those different products and carriers and things offer, and what are some of your favorite features from some of your favorite carriers?
So the carriers, my favorite carrier, and the one that I am using right now through the unions, is American Income Life. One of my favorite things about American Income Life is that I can tell my clients that in the event, God forbid, anything were to happen to them, whether it be they're living or in passing, that their family would be taken care of within 24 to 48 hours, which is such a wonderful thing to tell people, because in the state of California, insurance companies have up to 6 months to pay out.
Wow.
So to have that information is just, talk about peace of mind. They know that their family is going to be taken care of right away. They don't have to do a GoFundMe. They don't have to do any car washes. There's nothing that needs to be done on their end other than what has to be done at that time in their life.
That's good. One less thing.
One less thing.
And that's what American Life gives me the power to get that off, to hand that torch over to my clients to know what they have available for them and their families.
It's fantastic. So American Income Life is that top carrier for you. Is there anything else that you want to tell the audience about them and how awesome they are?
American Income Life, we represent over 30,000 unions and groups in the United States. They are also international, so representing unions throughout the world. And, we stand by our unions as well. So if anyone was to get laid off, or if there was a strike or anything like that, we're able for our union members to pay their policy premium for up to 90 days.
What?
Which is awesome. So that's how much American Income Life loves our unions.
I gave it a 10. A 10.
We absolutely give that a 10. That's amazing. So I know that a lot of policies on the life and health side, if there is an injury, or the insured loses their ability to make payments because they lost their job or whatever, they have all these different riders in there that will hold over that premium. But with this one, they even hold it for a union strike.
Layoffs and strikes. That's right. Correct.
Layoffs and strikes. That's one of a kind.
Yes.
One of a kind.
Yes. It is. It is.
Very cool. Well, Carrie Ann, it has been an absolute pleasure chatting with you and learning from you. I'm really excited about what our audience has been able to gain from this interaction. Hopefully you guys will get some more members over at American Income Life, because that sounds like something that a lot of people could definitely benefit from. Why don't you give us, for our listening audience, anybody who's hearing us on the podcast, tell us how we can get in touch with you, and for anybody who might be listening that is interested in a policy, because I know we have some union listeners out there, how can people get in touch with you to get more information?
Absolutely. So you can call me directly at 619-504-3748. And you can also follow me on Instagram at lifedesign_Carrie Ann and message me as well. And then I do have an email, which is carrieann12ail@gmail. And I would be more than happy to talk with anyone and answer any questions.
Very cool. Well, Carrie Ann, I want to thank you again for joining me on the Insurance Bro Show. We're rebranding a little bit. So thank you so much for spending some time with us today, taking some time out of your day. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for the invitation.
Of course. And thank you to all of our viewers and all of our listeners out there who are tuning into the show today. As always, I have so much appreciation for every single one of you. You rock my socks and you have my heart. And
Have a nice day.
have a nice day.
Thank you for tuning in to the Carrier Experience Podcast. James is the CEO of the Pipeline team of San Diego and is always in the market for top talent. If you are an agent looking for a place to hang your license, visit pipelineinsurance.com/agent opportunities or send an email to newagent@pipelineinsurance.com. You can find James on all social media at